Or show me now.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I want to welcome you all to the Moonriver Grant Hackathon. It's a great pleasure to introduce this hackathon. And we're very lucky, to have Moonbeam Foundation, to have Huobi Incubator and DoraHacks making this possible. We're so thrilled. We've got a lot of interesting bounties to share with you today. And we also have a great number of workshops that are coming up in the coming weeks. And so we have like a full, curriculum of items and lots of fun things to discuss today. So I have some kind of like a background on Moonriver, which I'll share a little bit later. But first, I just wanted to introduce Yolo Zhang from Huobi Incubator. And Huobi Incubator is our global strategic sponsor for the Grant Hackathon. And we're Huobi Incubator is sponsoring, a major amount for this. So $50,000. And in total, we have about $150,000 for the entire hackathon. So with that, I'll pass it over to Yolo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kevin, and about the intro of myself and Huobi Incubator. And now I will give you some infos about Huobi Incubator and our and what support we can offer for the multi-chain builders. Yeah. So let's start. I'm Yolo Zhang from Huobi Incubator, and now in charge of post-investment. And today I'm so honored to give speech here. I would like to share with you guys something about Huobi Incubator and some support we can offer for the public chain builders. Yeah. Huobi Incubator is positioned as a professional investment incubator integrating industrial research, investment fund, and incubator and accelerator. We are committed to helping the next generation of blockchain startups and technical teams to grow at a high speed. Yeah, now we have a dedicated team of 50 people in charge of post-investment, and with the leaders who have over 9 years of industry experience. And the Huobi Incubator will invest 100 million to set up the Huobi Incubator Fund, and they will invest and incubate the initial project, public chain, and also support for hackathons. All of this is to discover and help the great developers in the future. We aim to take the lead to form an ecological support fund with an amount of 500 million to 1 billion. Yeah. We know that in this a little, maybe how we call it, bull market, the project and actually at the last phase of the bull market, the project are not lack of money, but they are lack of good money. So the Huobi Incubator are trying to make the Huobi Incubator Fund as their good money. Yeah, not only we can invest, but also we can energize their project with a whole life incubation service. Like first, we help them to fund the other tier 1 investment fund, and we incubation them, and also we provide a channel of currency listing, and also the liquidity support, experts and consultants to company with their team, and strategic consulting service. Also the marketing branding service. Also we can help them to hire some talent, yeah, because we have a strong talent network. And the last one is that we can provide their resources network like IDO, and also their IDO platform, and also their developer platform, and also their market making team, kind of that to support their project to grow at a high speed. Yeah, and I also want to share with the share with you guys that we have just launched a very wonderful plan. We call it Web3 Scholarship. Yeah, we launched it January, so it's only 2 months old, and it is a funding platform jointly initiated by Huobi Incubator and a group of blockchain veterans, capitals, universities, and crypto platforms. And Huobi will donate 10 million to be their grant and to contribute to their excellent startups and public chain. Yeah, as you can see, and Kevin just mentioned that Huobi Incubator and Web3 Scholarship has made ecological cooperation with major public chain like Avalanche, Polygon, Celo, Near, and now it's Moonbeam. We will work with public chains with a massive potential in ecosystem building. We want to transfer from only investors to join the build group. As you can see, we plan to sponsor about 9 public chains hackathon events and host for 2 or 3 public chains. Yeah, and now we have been in the half process. Also, we will choose 3 to 5 public chain to deep cooperation, and we also want to have this deep cooperation with the Moonbeam, which I mean we can provide a channel for the Moonbeam projects to list on Huobi, and we can provide a fund to invest and also this team to incubate. Yeah, actually on the hackathon, we regarded the hackathon as enable to incubate public chain native projects, so as to capture the next generation value protocol groups. Also, it also helps us to initiate the stable and high quality project pipelines to share developer resources. Yeah. So to summarize, today I'm so happy to attend the Moonbeam Hackathon ceremony, and Huobi Incubator and Web3 Scholarship will donate $50,000 to the grant pool and award the projects who have high potential. Yeah, and not only this grant, but also we may invest and incubate the project who can have their good performance in the Moonbeam Hackathon. Yeah, so go for it and enjoy this hackathon. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Yolo. We're so thrilled to have your support. And as you say, support, for the long run, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of incubating teams, and teams could launch projects that they grow into, huge companies after this. I mean, that's kind of how many different companies start, right? Is an idea at a hackathon. So very, very grateful for your support, and for Steve and DoraHacks for organizing. As Aaron will discuss, hackathons are meant to be a lot of fun. That's what we're here for.
That. Yeah.
So I have a bit of a presentation to share. So I will go ahead and share my screen. And if you could let me know when you see it, that would be great.
Yep, we can see it.
See it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. So before we get to discussing about Moonriver, I figured it would be a good idea to start with an introduction to Polkadot. So the layer 0, that Moonbeam and Moonriver run on top of. So if you already know about Moonriver, just bear with me for the next 5 minutes or so. But you might also learn something new. And I'm kind of mentioned this in the context of somebody who knows about EVM based blockchains, but you might not have heard of Moonriver. Cool. So Polkadot was started as a project in about 2016. And at that time, it wasn't obvious that the future was going to be multi-chain. It was not kind of an obvious realization like kind of as it is now. And so early on, the Polkadot team realized that, this idea of single blockchains that can kind of one size fits all, they can kind of do everything, that those would eventually be replaced by specialized blockchains. And these specialized blockchains, they might specialize in different things, maybe decentralized identity, maybe they might specialize in decentralized storage, or maybe privacy solutions, or smart contracts like Moonbeam and Moonriver. So if we could just find a way to connect these specialized independent blockchains and unite them in a way that's trustless while remaining decentralized, then perhaps we could have an ecosystem that's truly greater than the sum of the parts. And so Polkadot achieves this vision by creating a layer 0, so a base layer, and that's the relay chain. And you can't deploy a smart contract to Polkadot itself, right? You have to deploy it to a chain, a layer 1, that's running on top of Polkadot. So the Polkadot relay chain handles all of kind of the base layer functionality that includes things like networking and security. In fact, one of the major draws of launching a parachain on Polkadot is that your finality guarantees, so the bulk of your security guarantees, come from the relay chain, which is a very, very important thing. So typically when you're launching a new proof of stake based blockchain, your security is only as good as the economic stake that's securing the network. So if you're a young network, you might not have that much economic stake, but when you launch as a parachain, all of your finality guarantees, they come from the relay chain. And the relay chain is backed by much more economic security than any single parachain itself. And so there are more benefits to launching as a parachain. And one of the major ones is actually XCM. And XCM is the technology that allows the different parachains to communicate with one another and also with the relay chain. So just to clarify, the relay chain is Polkadot and Kusama, and then Moonbeam is the parachain that's running on top of Polkadot, and Moonriver is the parachain that's running on Kusama. So why do we have Kusama and Polkadot? What's the relationship between the two? And kind of, why do we have Kusama and Polkadot? Well, allow me to kind of to share a little bit of history. Kusama was actually a testnet. And then in about early 2020, the network was kind of handed over to the community. And the community determined that this network's actually more valuable than a testnet. And Kusama is it's a mainnet, and it's said to be a canary network. So it's kind of like a proving ground for after applications and protocol upgrades, after they go through all of the various different testnets, many different stages of testnets, then they progress to Kusama. And so Moonriver has kind of followed that same brother-sister approach, Polkadot and Kusama. So Moonriver is meant to be a more experimental network. And this is a perfect fit for a hackathon. All of the latest upgrades, they always ship first to Moonriver. So again, after they're validated on testnets, after they go through rigorous internal testing, they move on to Moonriver. So that means that we have all the XCM upgrades. That's where XC20s were first launched, including the launch of XC-KSM. Additionally, Moonriver is a bit of an older network. It's been around since August 2021, and Moonbeam completed its launch process in January 2022. So there's a bit more developer tooling and in terms of like infrastructure items on Moonriver. So for Chainlink, for example, is already deployed to Moonriver, and so it will be coming soon to Moonbeam. But that's kind of why we chose Moonriver for this hackathon. It's a perfect fit in terms of the experimental nature of a hackathon and innovating at the limits of what's possible. And you'll see some of our bounties also in the workshops ahead. They're forward facing. These are new and very interesting ideas. And then the last thing about Moonriver is that it has a very strong community focus. So Moonriver actually won the second parachain, the second crowd loan auction back in June 2021. There were no VC allocations. This was entirely a community effort. And so the community is very strong. And it's one of the most incredible communities that I've seen. So these are active and engaged users. So if you post in the Discord, you're saying, hey, I launched this new application, why don't you go check it out? You'll find that lots of people are willing to jump in because it's a very engaged community, right? They want to see what's new and they want to explore. So diving a little bit more into what's Moonriver. Moonriver is an Ethereum compatible smart contract platform on Kusama, and it's built with Substrate, which means that its underlying architecture is very different from that of Ethereum. However, the developer experience and the end user experience are quite familiar. And that's due to a number of different things, but one is our completely seamless and our fully built out Web3 RPC. So this means that you can query a Moonbeam node with the exact same request that you'd send to an Ethereum node. You can say something like ETH get balance, and you don't even have to change the units. You don't have to change anything. You'll get back the corresponding, move or balance exactly as you expect. So this means that teams don't have to go ahead and change lots of different things. Instead, it's very seamless to deploy to Moonriver and to switch, to add, to your deployments, right? And the other thing that I want to talk about is a unified account structure. So Moonriver unites the best of Substrate and Ethereum, as does Moonbeam. And there are many benefits that come along with being a parachain on Polkadot and Kusama. And one of those is on-chain governance. But in order to participate in these Polkadot native functions, you need a Polkadot address. And Polkadot addresses are completely different from Ethereum addresses. In fact, they use completely different private keys. And there's a way to attempt to map a Polkadot address to an Ethereum address, but that does not work. And so Moonbeam made the difficult engineering decision early on, as in this was a lot of legwork to build out, but we need to have a unified account structure. So you can participate in these Substrate functions like governance with an Ethereum account. You can interact with the EVM, you can do everything all with a single Ethereum account. And the other benefit of this is that we have a number of precompiles where we expose Substrate native functionality, such as governance or staking. We expose these in a Solidity interface, and then developers are able to, in their applications, they're able to build it in such a way that the user doesn't even know that they're interacting with a Substrate function. They don't know that they're interacting with Polkadot, right? It's just like MetaMask, you're confirming a transaction. And so it's very, very seamless for end users. And it's completely seamless, for users from the Ethereum world. And finally, dev tools and integrations. We have tons of different dev tools and integrations so that no matter how you're used to building, you'll find that all of the tools you're used to working with are 100% compatible with Moonriver and Moonbeam. So as I mentioned, Moonriver unites the best of Ethereum and Substrate. So we have a full EVM. You can deploy your applications through it with no changes required at all. But then we also bring in the best of Substrate and Polkadot, and that includes features like on-chain governance. And I know I keep bringing it up, but on-chain governance is critical because you need to advance your protocol according to token holders' wishes. And that's very difficult to do, with informal or kind of like loosely organized governance structures. Polkadot has a governance structure such that upgrades are bound to the actual decision. So decisions get voted on, they get made, and then the actual enactment of those decisions happens autonomously. So they can't be blocked by any of the collators or anybody else. These upgrades and decisions are enacted autonomously, which is really, really powerful. And we seek to provide the most seamless development and deployment experience for Ethereum devs. So again, no changes are required. And we want to make it as seamless as possible. So that means incorporating things like EIP 1559 and all of the changes that Ethereum brings to the table. We'll be integrating. We have plans to integrate those as well. Okay, so moving right along to the judged bounties. We don't have time in this session to explain all of the bounties in detail, but I want to kind of break down the balance and the topics of each of these, so you can know what to look out for. The grand prize is focused on XCM, and XCM is probably the biggest differentiator in terms of growing the entire Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. It's the cutting edge of technology in this space, and so I highly recommend that you check it out. And we have a number of workshops. We have 1 or 2 replays of like a fantastic workshop that Alberto did, and then we also have one that'll be next week, and that'll be joint with both Alberto and then also James from Subquery. So it'll be like a jointly a joint collaboration. So that'll be a lot of fun. We also have a couple of different NFT focused bounties, and this is a great and fun set of bounties. So whether you're new to Web3, maybe you're new to NFTs, these are excellent bounties, and they're accessible. So you don't have to have years of experience, and they're very fun. Like you get to see, these are bounties where you get to see the very like visual results of your work, which is really, really cool. We also have gaming focused bounties, and this is from the ChainSafe SDK. So ChainSafe just introduced a gaming SDK, which integrates blockchain data into Unity, which is really cool. So more on that in the workshop, where I'll go through all the bounties, and there will be an English and a Chinese language version. So I'm running the one that's tomorrow morning. And then Henry's doing it tomorrow night Pacific time, which ends up being about midday Friday, China Standard Time. So we'll have the exact times on the next slide. We also have an indexers section. So indexers like the graph and covalent, and these are accessible to integrate into your application. You can maybe have an application that integrates this data, and maybe you can layer this like on top of another bounty. It's possible. We also have the Huobi Incubator top 3 projects overall. So first place, second place, and third place. You're eligible for these, if you apply to like other bounties, we're looking at like the best overall. And then we also have the Huobi Incubator Moonshot bounties. These are, if you're working on something that's unique and interesting, but maybe doesn't fit into these other categories, we don't want to constrain you. We want you to work on the unique and innovative, applications that you're working on. And the Huobi Moonshot bounties are for you in that case. Almost lastly, we have a great series of judges and experts. These are from the industry. They are very knowledgeable, and they've seen many different hackathons in the past. And so we have an excellent slate of judges. So we also have a great series of workshops. And so these are the exact times. So as I mentioned, we have the getting started building on Moonriver. This is where we'll go through all the different bounties in exhaustive detail. So Henry will be running the one that's midday Friday, and then I'll be running the one that's tomorrow. We also have, so that's kind of the introductory ones this week, but then next week we dive into more of the bounty specific workshops. So starting off on Monday, that's an introduction to Pinata, which is mostly relevant for the NFT focus bounties. Pinata is a really cool tool. And on Wednesday, we have a workshop on querying blockchain data with Covalent. I believe they're also going to have an NFT focus to this, but Covalent is not just NFTs, right? You can get all different sorts of data from Covalent, whether it's token data, account balances, and many different things. So that's on Wednesday. And then we have a getting started with XCM workshop. This is to get you up to speed on everything you need to know about our grand prize and XCM. And this is jointly done with Subquery. And so the timing is a little bit different because the Subquery team is in New Zealand, and we have to have like overlapping time zones. So it may not be a super convenient time, but all of these workshops will be on replay, so you can watch them, at your convenience. So how can you stay in touch? We have a hackathon channel in the Moonbeam Discord. Well, we currently have one called the BUIDLers section. We're creating a hackathon independent one that'll be right below that. And this is going to be a great place to get all resources. We'll be posting updates here all the time, but also it's a place for you to get help. And this is staffed, around the clock. And we also have, support in English, Chinese, and other languages. And you can also reach us in the this new Telegram group, the Moonriver Grant Telegram group. And we also have the larger Moonbeam Telegram group at the bottom. So I encourage you to check out the Linktree QR code if you'd like. And you can also follow us on Twitter for updates on this. So I'm going to pass this along to Aaron. Aaron is a director of the Moonbeam Foundation. He's joining us from the middle of the night. We're so appreciative that he's making the sacrifice and joining us. And so with that, I'm going to pass it along to Aaron.
Great, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, no, look, my pleasure. I mean, yeah, it's a little late, but I slept a few hours. I'll sleep a few hours after this, but no, it's my pleasure. So, so I'm Aaron, from the Moonbeam Foundation, and I have always loved hackathons. So prior to getting into Web3 and getting going with Moonbeam and so forth, I worked in Web2 for over 20 years. And during my time in Web2, I've been involved with many hackathons. I've been a judge. I've participated in a bunch of them. I've worked to organize them and so forth. And I know there's a ton of work. So I definitely am appreciative of DoraHacks and all the folks on the Moonbeam side, and our sponsors, co-sponsor Huobi Incubator, for all the work that goes into these things. But hackathons, why are they so great? Like what is so awesome about hackathons? Well, from a collaboration standpoint, it gives developers the opportunity to work with other like-minded individuals and deepen their knowledge in a particular space. But at the same time, it helps build momentum in a given space or a given ecosystem. But I think most of all, it's the way that they bring people together to solve problems. And that creates a certain kind of energy that breeds creativity and innovation. Some of the biggest innovations at the companies that I've worked for came out of hackathons that they had. They weren't things people were working on every day. They were an opportunity for people to work on something, take a break from what they were doing and work on something new with a group of people. And just the creative ideas that came out of that ended up going into shippable products and features and so forth. So when you bring a hackathon to the bleeding edge Web3 space and a flourishing ecosystem like Moonbeam, this energy and creativity gets compounded. And I'm super excited to see where this goes. So Kevin did a fabulous job of taking us through the foundations of what Polkadot and Moonbeam are all about. I want to take a little bit of a step back and speak a little bit about our vision and why now is a great time to develop and deploy in the Moonriver ecosystem. As you can see from this visual, there are a lot of teams that have deployed to Moonriver and Moonbeam. It's definitely an eye chart, so I'm not going to go through all of these, but I think when you consider Moonriver's, it seems like forever, but it's really been about 7 months that Moonriver's been fully live. I think it's safe to say the ecosystem is thriving. So we've spent a lot of time speaking with Web3 teams. In fact, we've engaged with over 150 teams to understand their deployment plans. And what we found is that many teams are pursuing a multi-chain strategy. So why is this? So first of all, many teams want to expand to users and assets in other chains. And part of this could be, in terms of reaching those users, that if they don't do it, some other team is going to. So there's sort of an opportunity there for mind share. But many of them also want to serve users and use cases that aren't well served from their home chain. So, if their home chain's Ethereum, it may not, there's whole classes of users that are priced out, or there's other things that maybe it doesn't do so well. But I think overall, what we found is that there's an underlying driver of scalability and that different chains can specialize in different things, as Kevin mentioned earlier about the whole thesis of Polkadot. So dApps are evolving. They're evolving from a mono-chain deployment, that's kind of where we were, into a cross-chain deployment, and that's kind of where things are now. But at the same time, there seems to be some consolidation around specific tech stacks. I think at this point, Web3 has evolved to the point where it wouldn't make sense to start from scratch. There's so many frameworks around and developers that are familiar with those specific frameworks that it just wouldn't make sense to just build it from nothing. So, and the concentration seem to be around some key technologies. So EVM, of course, is a huge one. Substrate, and Cosmos SDK is probably another, and perhaps the Solana frameworks. From this consolidation of tech stacks and cross-chain architectures, what we see emerging from this is something Derek, who's the founder of Moonbeam, has coined as native multi-chain. So what's native multi-chain? Well, for a native multi-chain application, the application will leverage multiple specialized backend blockchain technologies, but the users won't know that they won't be aware of the underlying chains that are serving them. So this goes kind of beyond what we have today, which is a set of disparate bridges and so forth. And this will create better layers of abstraction. And in some cases, users will be able to benefit from a single and consolidated security umbrella. I think Moonbeam and Moonriver are well positioned in this native multi-chain world. And in fact, I would say, we're kind of leading the way. EVM and Polkadot are, of course, huge parts to the story. They're key ingredients. But the introduction of the XC20s that Kevin spoke about before, they take all of this to the next level. And having ERC20 interfaces to multiple cross-chain assets all under a single security layer is just the beginning. We see this going beyond simple asset transfers and extending into true cross-chain messaging scenarios. So just kind of go back to kind of some things that Kevin touched on earlier. So why Moonriver and why now? So Moonriver is where all of this is happening right now. Moonriver and Kusama are where things deploy first. All the ingredients needed for DeFi, NFTs, gaming, they're all deployed and ready to take advantage of. There's lots of teams and projects that are deployed and are available to collaborate with. But on top of all of this, XCM and XC20s are live and they're waiting to be used to develop the next generation of native multi-chain applications. So I'm super excited about all the activity happening on Moonriver, but I'm also really, really excited to see what amazing innovations come out of the hackathon. And if you think I seem really excited right now, you should see me when it's not the middle of the night. So lastly, I guess what I would just like to remind people, kind of touching on what Kevin mentioned before, that many of the teams, many hackathon teams go on to create new and innovative and cutting edge teams and turn into companies and these great ideas. So one of the steps along the way certainly can be, incubator programs and so forth. But another really key one could be the Moonbeam Grants Foundation. So I would encourage teams that feel they may be ready to take their hackathon project to the next level to apply for a grant from the Moonbeam Foundation. And you can do this through the foundation's website at moonbeam.foundation. So yeah, and again, I want to thank DoraHacks. I want to thank the Moonbeam team, and I'd really like to thank Huobi Incubator for their support as well. And yeah, super excited, like I said, to see where things go. And with that, I'll turn things over to Steve.
Yep. Thank you, Aaron, for the nice sharing, background intro of Moonbeam Foundation and Moonriver. Yeah, very happy to host this big thing. We have been planning it for a while. Our last partnership can trace back to last May in Austin, where we and Moonbeam team actually hosted, I think we co-hosted the very first hackathon in Austin city history. That was a blast. We had a fun time in Austin, Texas. But yeah, essentially Dora team has been wanting to contribute our share to the Polkadot ecosystem. And I think thanks to Moonriver, we have this opportunity because they are EVM compatible. So essentially as an infrastructure, more teams can access the Moonriver Moonbeam ecosystem, thus Kusama Polkadot ecosystem by deploying their application on Moonriver first, Moonbeam first. So yeah, so very happy to have this whole thing going on. We have $150,000 prize pool waiting for you guys to tackle. And essentially what DoraHacks also enable is that you can also raise grants and donations from global community supporters, which is great. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna show you very briefly on how to submit your project to the Moonriver grant here. So if you go to DoraHacks.io, which is our platform, you can actually check out Moonriver's grant on the banner on the initial page. And if you click into that, you can actually find the Moonriver Grant Hackathon that's already happening here. So if you are a project you want to submit, which actually already on DoraHacks platform, I actually checked like a little bit earlier today, there's already 27 teams, 28 teams building in the Moonriver ecosystem from DoraHacks community. You can see there's Moonriver domain registry. There's a few like different DAO toolings and some other NFT protocols that also participated in East Denver. I think they're already there. So if you want to apply for this hackathon, essentially what you can do is that you can go to Moonriver Grant, and there's actually a lot of ways that you can find this grant on our platform. Just click apply for the grant, and let me connect the MetaMask. This will be on the Moonriver network. If you use Wallet Connect or MetaMask, we'll register your address on our platform, and essentially you can either apply for this hackathon with a project that you previously created in DoraHacks if you participate in our previous hackathons. In my case, like I already have a project here, but if you want to create a new one, submit a few information here. If say we want to create a Moonriver dev DAO, and it falls into the DAO category, it's in the Moonriver grant, and it is deploying on Moonriver here. You can just see it, and we want to provide grants to Moonriver devs. Go to description, submit a BUIDL cover image. I have a really cool one from the Indian hackathon. What is your Telegram name? You can add a team member here. I'm adding my team member, Chris. Very easy. If you let your team member register for the DoraHacks platform, I can see Kevin will be our captain. And Aaron is our CTO, for example. You just add it here, and I can just click submit my project. It's very simple. And essentially you can also add something for GitHub link, demo links, demo video, Twitter account for your project if you have that. Essentially you can build a profile page for your project. If you click submit project and get back and click submit grant application, and boom, essentially you can find a project in the hackathon. Pretty much like we already have a first one. It's already like participating. So you can essentially also find all of the details that Kevin mentioned, like what are some of the eligibility or requirements, criteria for participating in this hackathon, what are some of the bounties that Kevin just described. We have $10,000, $100,000, sorry, for total bounties for you guys to tackle. Some of them are focusing on different areas. Some of them are sponsored by Huobi. Thank you, Huobi Incubator, for sponsoring. And what are some of the guidelines, toolings for your reference? Learn more about Moonriver joining their community. Everything is included here. So you can essentially find everything on a detailed page. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. If you want to participate in all of the workshops, we have a live streaming session prepared for you, bilingual. Some of the workshops will be in Mandarin, some of the workshops will be in English, catered to you on different time zones. If you missed those live streaming sessions, you can actually check out all of the Moonriver workshops on the YouTube link here. If you click YouTube, essentially you can find the opening ceremony and follow the following workshops later on. And if you want to edit your project, you essentially find your project in the profile session, or you can actually edit the projects you previously submitted and update the milestones and bounties there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We already, essentially Dora wants to help connect brilliant ecosystems in the space like Moonriver and Moonbeam with brilliant developers like you guys watching today's live stream. There are a lot of interesting grant programs for you to apply. A community grant like us, where you can apply on DoraHacks platform. We want to provide you with sufficient support and funding so that you can do well in this hackathon, learn a lot about how to build a dApp on Moonriver, and essentially want to provide you a lot of support in the long term. So very happy to have this opportunity to kick off a Moonriver grant on DoraHacks platform. Yay, we've been wanting this for quite a while, and very happy to work with you guys, work with Moonriver team, Moonbeam team. Hope we can launch a Moonbeam hackathon on our platform later this year when Moonbeam is more ready. So yeah, a lot of interesting things going on in the Kusama Polkadot ecosystem, and we can totally explore them all out in the Moonriver hackathon. So very happy to have this opportunity. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Aaron, for joining us today. Thank you, Huobi Incubator, for sponsoring this event and like providing amazing prizes for all of the participating teams. Yeah, looking forward to all of the successful submissions. If you have any question for us, you can either join the Moonriver and Moonbeam, I think, Discord channel. There will be dev support there. Kevin can probably explain more about that. You can also join the DoraHacks Discord. We can answer a lot of questions on Dora's side on platform. If you have any questions using our platform, we can totally support you there as well. Yep. Cool. Yeah. Essentially, I should host this, but thank you, Kevin, for beginning and the start. But thank you, Aaron, for joining us.
Steve.
I know it's pretty late in Ottawa right now. Are you in Ottawa right now?
Yeah, I'm in Ottawa. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So thank you for joining us late night. I think this hackathon is going to be great. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can find Moonriver team, Dora team in Discord channels. Yeah. Hope you all build a great. I really hope that someone can build the next really big thing in the Moonriver ecosystem. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Have a great evening.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.